Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I pray that you all are having a blessed week so far. I pray that all the things that you need to get done are falling in line. You're getting your to-do list done. I know that's very important for me. So I wanted to talk about today. We're coming from the Our Daily Bread series, and it's called Keep It Simple. And the key scripture is Acts 8 and 35. And Acts 8 and 35 says, Philip began with that very passage of scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. And so here's how the story reads. The email was short but urgent. It said, request salvation. I would like to know Jesus, unquote. What an astonishing request. Unlike reluctant friends and family who haven't yet received Christ, this person didn't need convincing. My task was to quiet myself, doubt about evangelizing, and simply share key concepts. Scriptures. I'm sorry, let me read that again. My task was to quiet myself, doubt about evangelizing, and share simple key concepts, scriptures, and trusted resources that addressed this man's plea. From there, by faith, God would lead his journey. Philip demonstrated such simple evangelism when, on a desert road, he met the treasurer of Ethiopia, who was reading aloud from the book of Isaiah. Do you understand what you are reading? Philip asked. This is in Acts 8 and 30. How can I? The man answered, unless someone explains it to me. Invited to clarify, Philip began with that very passage of scripture and told him the good news about Jesus. Starting where people are and keeping evangelism simple, as Philip showed, can be an effective way to share Christ. In fact, as the two traveled along, the man said, Look, here is water, and asked to be baptized. Philip complied, and the man went on his way rejoicing. I rejoiced when the email writer replied that he had repented of sin, confessed Christ, found the church, and believed he was born again. What a beautiful start. Now, may God take him higher. And so, a couple reflection questions here is, how do you respond to opportunity to share your faith? What simple answers could you have on hand for someone who wants to know Jesus? So, I want to talk about keeping it simple. Keeping it simple as far as sharing your faith and in ministry as well. Hey, good morning, Pastor Brown. How you doing? Thanks for joining us this morning, sir. So keeping it simple, in this particular case, you have an individual who had already been exposed to Christ, had already been exposed to God's goodness, and they simply emailed this person and said, "Request salvation. I would like to know Jesus." And that's almost an ideal situation. We don't run into that situation uh, often, but it's an ideal situation because then all you need to do is introduce them to Christ. And, as the author talks about here, and just like in the scripture, it doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't have to have 20 steps to this and that. But I will say this, that you do need to be prepared. And everything that we talk about on this program is about being prepared, and being prepared is being in prayer to God and reading your scripture, being in the word, studying the word. So being prepared. And as you're prepared, you are sharpening your tools so that when it comes time for you to use them, they're ready. I heard this saying a long time ago, and I say it often, is that if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That means that at the drop of a dime, you are ready to share the gospel. You're ready to share in some aspect with somebody who is asking to receive the word, who is asking to know more about your faith. Evangelist Stephanie, good morning, ma'am. So, in keeping it simple, yes, the preparation may be a little bit more detailed. It might be a little bit more complex. You might study some key concepts and phrases, and or going. Let me rephrase that. You may study some key concepts, and you may have some steps that help you in explaining God, explaining your faith. You have to understand where the other person is. They may not be at the level that you are in their knowledge. And so the best thing and most effective thing that you can do when communicating with individuals, as far as sharing your faith, as far as sharing everything, is to be on their same level. Now, I always use the example, okay, this level, I don't mean that to say that you're better than anyone else. Anyone is lesser than you. We can use the scale this way as well. All I'm saying is that you need to meet people at their place of need, and you need to speak to them and communicate to them in their particular language. For example, if you are fluent in German and they have no idea one German word, and they're asking you to explain something simple like how to make a sandwich, and then you come out and tell them in German, they're not going to understand. So it's speaking to them in their language. It's speaking to them on their level, even if they know a little German. Okay, if you want to try the German, then use the small German. Use small German phrases that they might pick up, that they might understand. But ultimately, here's where I'm going with this. Ultimately, it's not about you proving or showing how much you know. Yes, I just studied the book of Matthew, and it says this and this and this, and this is where they were at the time. And during this period of time, this is the tradition of the era. And how does that relate to what the question the person is asking you? Keep it simple. Go to their level. It's not an opportunity for you to showboat, for you to show off, for you to say, um, to regurgitate everything that you have learned ever about the Bible. That's not the time. The time is for you to be used by God, which is most important, for you to be used by God, because God has placed you in that particular position for that season and that reason, to minister to that person, to share with that person, and to answer the person's questions. And by going a step forward in the communication process, as you're communicating with people, you could tell by folks by their nonverbals if they're understanding what you're getting or not. And you have to be mindful of that. It's not about you, um you just, I'm lack of a better term, you just running your mouth consistently. No, it's about that other person understanding. If the and no matter how much you've said, in what degree you've said, in all complicated form that you have used, if the other person does not understand what you said and they cannot benefit from it, then your communication was very ineffective. So keep that in mind. Communicating with someone, sharing your faith, is not about you. It's about the other person. It's about it's about edifying that person. It's about helping that person understand, and it's about helping that person in their Christian walk so that they can be better. It's not about you standing on a platform beating your chest saying, look at me, look at me. No, it's not about that. It's about the other person. And when you go forward, it's always going to go back to everything we talk about here is about love. If you do something in love, if you go to them in love, you are going to feel God's presence in the midst, and God's not going to allow you to do those things. So you are going to have that effective communication. But the point and the moral of the story is that keep things simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Keep it simple when you're sharing the good news, when you're trying to explain scriptures to folks. Keep it simple. You have to be at that level where they are. Let's see, Evangelist Stephanie, edifying the other person is what it's all about. Absolutely. What are you doing? If you're just, I heard this a long time ago. Pastor told me this, that what you're going to say, if it's not edifying others, then don't say it. Often I've seen where you'll be in a gathering, and maybe even in a Bible study, and this person says this, oh wow, that's so profane, and wow, that's so knowledgeable, and you just feel like you're getting all wrapped up, banging on your chest. Oh, I got to say something too. No, you don't. You really don't. Just, if God gave it to you and it's to edify the body, then go ahead and speak. If not, if you're just re-emphasizing what somebody else is saying so that you can hear yourself talk, I don't want to get down this road, then just sit your behind down. But anyway, keep it simple. That's the moral here. It's all about the other person. It's not about you glorifying yourself. It's about glorifying God, and how can you help that individual in their walk? Because I guarantee if you don't keep it simple and the person is confused, they're not going to come back to you for anything. If they have any questions about anything, they are not going to come back to you. They'll find someone else. And that may be that could lead to a bad situation, because maybe they turn away from God completely because they had questions. No one answered their questions. So remember, it's always about the other person. Um, you know what? That's all that I have. I'm gonna keep it short today. That's all I have for now. I pray that you all are once again having a blessed week. Pastor Brown, thanks for joining us. Evangelist Stephanie, thanks for joining us this morning. Pastor Brown, welcome back. Glad you got back to the area safely from your trip. Looking forward to seeing you. Evangelist Stephanie, yes, that is so true. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Yes, sir. I'm going to change stupid to sir. Keep it simple, sir. Yes, exactly. Kiss, we use that in the military all the time. Keep it simple, stupid. Right. If you get too complex, people are going to get confused. We don't need all that. Anyway, I'm gonna get going because I don't want to start rambling. I will start rambling, but I'm gonna get going. Once again, I pray you all having a blessed day. Continue to have an amazing Tuesday, and we will see you back here again tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care, and God bless.